Hi, I'm a Blisy.
Hey everybody, today I'm going to teach you how to effectively EV train in Pokemon Sun and Moon, and I'm going to go over a quick overview on what EVs are. And then I'll go over the two methods I think are best for EV training in this game. So what an EV is essentially, it stands for effort value or effort points, depending on where you're reading it. Every time you KO a Pokemon, you get 1 point towards a stat based on the Pokemon you killed. So for example, every time I KO a Caterpie, that will give me 1 HP. Every time you kill a Roggenrola, that gives 1 defense. Every time you kill 1 Makuhita, that's also HP. So it's just Pokemon-based things. So different Pokemon give different points. And if we take a look at some of the Pokemon you've traveled in-game with, like let's say this Marowak here, and you hit... So you can see their stats here regularly. This is just telling you like how good their stats are overall. Like the speed is a good, you can see that. But if you hit Y on this menu, it will tell you how good you've spec'd your stats. So if you see here, my Marowak is mostly defense-oriented. My Alakazam has most HP-oriented. My Cubone has nothing. The light blue is where you've put your stats towards, and the yellow is the baseline of what the stat is. So it tells you the Cubone's got good defense, so maybe you'd want to train Cubone in defense kind of thing. And the point of this is you could specialize in particular stats. So you can only have 510 points in total, and you can apply them in any which way you want. A lot of people opt to spec out a Pokemon's best 2 stats, or maybe to cover weaknesses, stuff like that. So with that long-winded explanation out of the way, I'm going to teach you how to EV train and where to EV train and what you need for it. So the way you, the first method I'm going to teach that EV training is, I'm going to teach you how to EV train using the S.O.S calling method, where a Pokemon will call an ally for help. So what I'm going to do is show you Pokemon you need for that first. So you're going to need a Pokemon with False Swipe for chaining, and preferably a high level so it can knock out the allies that are called in one hit. I've got this Marowak here. It was False Swipe to knock the original guy down to 1 HP, and then you're going to be just KOing all of the allies with just different moves. And then you're going to need a Pokemon who has Pokerus. Pokerus doubles all EVs that you require from a Pokemon. So if again, let's go back to Caterpie. Caterpie gives me 1 HP point. Now, if my Pokemon had Pokerus, it will give me 2 HP points. And it needs to be contagious. If you look at it like this, this means it's contagious. Because you need to pass this on to the guy you want to train, which is my Cubone here. I want to train him. And the way you pass it on is just going into a battle and exiting a battle, which I will show you in a second. And the last thing you need to know about Pokerus is this Marowak here has Pokerus, but that's what this little happy face denotes right down here. But it means I can't pass it on any longer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pass it on from my Alakazam to my Cubone, and I'm going to put Alakazam back in the box. Because Pokerus fades after 24 hours, but if it's in the PC, it won't fade, which is cool. Okay, so with all that out of the way, let's cover some items you're going to need. You're going to need all the power items. They're over here. So they're in the Battle Royale Dome, this woman. They're 16 BP each. I have all of them, multiples of all of them already. And you can EV train different stats with these. So each of them adds 8 points to the specified stat. Onto what when you kill a Pokemon. So this is the Power Bracer. It gives 8 EVs in attack every single time I KO a Pokemon. And it doesn't even have to be for, like, so let's say I have the Power Bracer, which gives 8 EVs in attack every time I KO a Pokemon. If I KO a Caterpie, which gives me 1 HP, that Caterpie after the battle, after I killed it, now gives me 8 attack and 1 HP. Although I think the most effective method of training is to stack them on top of what you're doing. So if I wanted to train HP, I'd kill Caterpies and hold the power weight, which increases my maximum HP. So you're going to want to get all of these. No, thank you. And in the bag, you're going to need an Adrenaline Orb, which you can find right here. These just make it more likely for them, the Pokemon, to call for help. Then the last thing you're going to need is the EXP share should be turned on. If you're training multiple just in general, because this Cubone is level 1, it can't kill anything by itself, and the EXP share passes EVs on to anyone. So this Marowak here can do all the killing, all the hard work, and the Cubone gets the experience points and the EVs. So this also means if you have multiple power items, which I do, if we go down here, oh, this is the wrong one. If we go down here, where is it? Sorry. I gotta find my power item. Here's my power items. So if I wanted to EV train for speed, I could give 3 power anklets to 3 different Pokemon and have Marowak still do all the killing, and they'd still gain all the EVs. So that's excellent. So now I'm going to just pass on Pokerus to my Cubone, and it's pretty simple to do this. If we go over here. So all you have to do is get into a wild battle. Let me get into Rose, speed this along. So all you gotta do is get into a wild battle and then run away. It's really easy. So I think this is the closest grass for me. So I'm getting into a battle, and I'm just going to run immediately upon entering the battle. And every time you do this, every time you enter a battle and then run, you have a chance of encountering or passing Pokerus along to the Pokemon that are in your party. So as you saw before, my Cubone did not have Pokerus, and it might now. It's just a chance. I'm not sure. So it doesn't have it, but it's still it's just random chance, and I'm just going to do it a few times. You just need to get into battles and leave. It's not too difficult. And then once we do, once you have Pokerus passed along, I'll begin the actual training part. And it could take a few tries, just going back and forth. And there you go. He's got Pokerus now, which is pretty cool. As you can see, since this is all yellow here, it means he still has no EVs, but this guy has a bunch. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put Alakazam back in the box, and I'm going to start EV training. So first we're going to fly back to the first island. We're going to go back to Melee. We're going to go right over here. So certain Pokemon give certain EVs, and that's pretty much the best way to figure it out, where you want to go. And the first island, you can train every single stat on the first island, although in my opinion some of them aren't the how do I put it, like some of them are a little frustrating to do. So we're going to put Alakazam right here, just because I don't want him losing his Pokerus. Okay. So I'm going to EV train for HP. And this will, so I'll put a list of Pokemon that give which stat they give in the description, and I'll probably edit one on screen. But, so, and I'll go over them right here as well. So, on this island, Caterpie gives HP, so does Makuhita, and so does Drifloon. Although Drifloon's only in the day. They all give 1 HP stat, and Yungoos gives attack. Ladybug in this will give special defense. Roggenrola will give defense. The Oricoro will give special attack. They give 2 special attack. And who gives speed on the island? I forget. Let me check really quick. Okay, so Spearow is the one you should be going for speed EVs. And this is just only the first island. There's lots of different Pokemon you can find. And I'm going to do individual videos to show my preferred Pokemon to EV train on. Because, like for example, I don't think Roggenrola is great for defense. They have Sturdy, so you need a multi-hit move. And they have Sand Attack, so the main one can just keep Sand Attacking you, and you lose accuracy, and it sucks. As well as Drifloon. I would love to do this one for HP, but it can't be false swiped, so it doesn't call for allies as frequently as it could. And I'll go over that in, like I said, in individual videos. But so for here, I'm just going to be going over the method for how to do it. So the first thing you want to do is you're going to give the Pokemon the appropriate power item. So right here, we're going to do HP. So we need the power weight. I don't know where it is. Oh, here it is. Okay. Then we have to search for a Caterpie, and I'm going to explain the math for this in once we get into the battle. So we just need a Caterpie. That can be a little frustrating to find. Their encounter rate is kind of low, so I'm going to actually pause the video and I'm going to start it up again once I find a Caterpie. So actually something that's pretty handy here is the initial Pokemon doesn't need to be what you are killing. Like, Metapod only calls Caterpies, so as long as I'm killing the Caterpies, the Metapod being the initial Pokemon doesn't matter. So observe what I will do here. So we're going to start the chain by false swiping the Metapod, and he's going to get to 1 HP. And hopefully he calls for help, but he might not. He's going to call for help, and this is going to cause a Caterpie to show up. See, he doesn't, I do not believe he calls Metapods at all. Alright, so now that this Caterpie's here, I'm going to explain how this works. With the EVs and the math and stuff. So the way chaining works is, if you look on the bottom screen, there's the Metapod and there's the Caterpie. So this Metapod here gives 2 defense. And then I would add the 8 HP EVs from the power weight, and I would get 2 defense, and then that would be doubled each, so I'd get 4 defense at like 16 HP EVs. Caterpie here gives 1 HP, and then 8 from the power weight, so that's 9, and I'd get 18. However, and if this initial one was a Caterpie, it'd be like the same as this Caterpie, but the allies actually give double EV yields. So this Caterpie really, instead of 18, which is what Pokerus would say it gives 36. So if I KO this Caterpie right now, which I'm going to do with Shadow Bone, that's 36 HP EVs for my Cubone. And every subsequent Caterpie will give 36. The initial one gives half of what the second one gives. And I should have said to turn your move animations off. I always forget to do it. I don't know why. So Metapod's going to call for help again. We're going to get another Caterpie. Nothing happened. So when this happens, when nothing appears or he doesn't call for help, that's when you use the Adrenaline Orb. So now it's nervous. He's more likely to call for help. So every kill will be giving 36, and in order to max out a stat, that means if you do 36 times 7, that's 252. So all you'd have to do really to figure out what you want in a stat, like if you don't want to max out a stat, then you just have to do however many points you want divided by 36. And so this is just the fastest method, in my opinion, to max out a stat, is doing this, finding a Pokemon, getting a chain, and KOing 7 of them. Will give you 252, which is a cap on a stat. If you want different amounts, like let's say I wanted 248 EVs, we will break out the calculator here. I can't actually see the calculator for some reason on my screen. Oh, there it is. Okay. So I want 248 EVs. If 36 times 6 is 216, that means we have to get the remaining 32 EVs a different way, because one of these allied Caterpies would give 36. So there's various ways to do that kind of thing. What I would suggest doing is finding another Caterpie and killing a regular Caterpie instead of killing an allied Caterpie, which gives 18, so that would be plus 18. So now we're at 234, and if we then take the power item off, we're only getting 2 EVs per Caterpie and 4 per ally. So if I took the power item off and I killed ally Caterpies, I would get plus 4, 238, plus 4 again. And I would just have to keep chaining it like that. And I'm at 246, but 246 and 240 is 1 less than 248 still. So then I just have to kill a regular Caterpie without a power item, which gives plus 2. And so there's all kinds of different ways you have to figure out the best method of, like you have to math it out. You have to remember allies give double EVs, and taking the power item takes away 8 or 16 if it's the, because you're essentially getting 16 EVs from the power item because the 8 is doubled. So that way the allies would only get 4. Like you have to figure out all these maths. So like the least amount of EVs you can get with Pokerus is just 1 EV. And I'm just trying to do some explanation, try and answer, like preemptively answer questions before people ask them. About how to figure out the best way to EV. And this means certain Pokemon give a different amount of stat, actually. So Orikoro, I mentioned, gives 2 special attack EVs. So if you did the math, 2 plus 8 from the power item for a special attack would be 10, doubled for the ally, or doubled by Pokerus would be 20, and then doubled by the ally chaining is 40. So Orikoro actually would give 40 per kill per ally kill, and you have to keep that in mind as well. But that's useful because certain things, like if you want 64, it's easy because you just kill 3 and then you kill 1 ally later with. So there's lots of different ways, and even EV training before you get Pokerus is potentially doable because you get 1 EV that way and you just get less and it's more consistent. So I've been counting how many Caterpies I'm killing with this here. So I've killed 7. That means my HP stat is maxed out. So I'm just going to run from the battle now. No reason to do anything else. Now if you'll notice, I'll go into my start menu. Pokemon. So we go here in my Cubone. You take a look at him. His HP, this here is now golden because it is completely maxed out. And it's sparkling up here if you could see that. That means this stat has 252 points in it. It's maxed out. You cannot get any more HP points. And then I could do this with a different stat if I wanted. So that is how to effectively EV train while chaining. And like I said, I already have a Makuhita video up. I'll link that in the description. But you can also gain... like I'll do videos on where my favorite locations for EV training are. So like an Island 2, I like Torkoals. That's my favorite way for defense. So besides that, the only other effective method, in my opinion, is Pokepelago. And this gets a lot of flack, okay? But, because it's slow. It's insanely slow, alright? But, if you take a look here, I got some guys that this group is just, they're leveling up. That doesn't matter, though. So, if we take a look at this guy, his defense was raised by 252. And the way you EV train in Pokepelago is pretty simple. Depending on the level of Pokepelago, it depends on, gives you more groups, but it also gives more EVs. I believe per play session, which is a half an hour, it goes 1, 2, and then 4 per half hour per level. So if your Pokepelago was level 1 for I'll level up, if it was level 1, you'd get 1 EV every half hour. If it was level 2, you'd get 2 EVs every half hour, and if it's level 3, you get 4 EVs every half hour. So that means, it only takes 63 play sessions to max out a stat. So we're going to take this guy back. We're going to do something real quick. I'm just going to show you how this will work. So this one was trained completely in Pokepelago. Oops. But this one has no EV training on it at all, and he's got no Pokerus. So we're going to put him in this group, and then it's going to ask you wait, what? Hold on. Oh, I think it's because I switched DSs. I think something it messed up something. So we're gonna put him in here again, and I'm gonna explain how this works. Alright, so he's going to ask you what drink you want to do, and this is just which, so you can either give EXP or you can have it EV train in different levels. So I'm going to have this Cubone drink, it's HP, and it's going to ask how many play sessions you want. And now I'm max leveled, right, so this is every play session, which is 30 minutes on the bottom screen, you can see here. Every play session will give me 4 EVs. So you just do in your math. You just do in your head how much you want. So 2 will give me 8, and that's an hour. So let's bring out the calculator again. So calculator. I want 152 EVs in a stat, and I would divide that by 4, and that's 38. So if I did 38 play sessions, that's 19 hours, and then I would have 152 EVs in the stat. And if I did 63, that's 252. And that takes 30 hours. And you must be thinking to yourself, 30 hours to EV train something you just showed me in like 5 minutes? That's ridiculous. It is ridiculous. But the thing is, putting beans in putting the beans in this bucket doubles the time. So if I put max beans here, the Poke Beans will last for 16 hours. This group 1 here, which was not 8 hours, is 30. I don't know how to switch the group name up there or whatever, but this Cubone, he will now finish his session in 15 hours instead of 30. And again, you must be thinking to yourself, that takes way too long. But the reason I like this method a lot, turn my DS off here. The reason I like that method a lot in particular is because if you work a lot and you still want to have a competitive team, you put that Cubone, right before you go to bed, you put that Cubone in, you give it max berries, you set the defense stat that you want, and you go to work all day, you come back, the Cubone is EV trained, and you've not committed anything, which is pretty great, in my opinion. It's just really handy for people who work all the time and they can't spend their free time EV training like that. I think it's great. With that said, that's all I've got for you today. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time.